far beyond the familiar constellations, far beyond the reach of any radio signal or satellite transmission, there is a small rocky world circling a quiet orange sun. The astronomers who catalogued it long ago gave it the name Kepler-442b, a modest designation for a place of extraordinary stillness. It is a world slightly older than Earth, its mountains worn smooth by 1 billion years of gentle wind, its vast plains of copper-colored stone glowing faintly in the amber light of its star. And on the edge of one of those ancient plains, perched where the land meets the beginning of a long, shallow valley, there stands the Last Observatory. You are arriving there now. Let your body settle where it is. Let the weight of your limbs press softly downward. There is nothing required of you tonight, nothing to solve, nothing to plan, nothing to remember. You are simply traveling slowly toward a place of deep and quiet purpose. The observatory is not grand. It is a low dome of pale stone and tempered glass, built to withstand the slow seasons of this distant world. Its walls are the color of old ivory, weathered by centuries of thin air and starlight. A single light glows amber within the warm lamp of someone who has been here a very long time, someone who keeps watch so that the stars are not forgotten. Let your shoulders soften, breathe slowly. There is nothing to do but listen. His name is Elias. He is the last of the astronomers assigned to this outpost, a man of quiet habits and patient eyes. He does not rush. He does not need to. Out here, on the edge of an exoplanet 2,000 light-years from Earth, time moves differently. The nights are long, longer than any you have known, and the sky above is so vast, so dense with ancient light, that to look up is to fall gently into something infinite. You walk toward the observatory now. The ground beneath you is soft with a thin layer of reddish dust, the kind that rises in little eddies when the wind finds it. The air is cool and carries the faint mineral scent of warm stone slowly releasing its heat. Above you, the stars are already beginning to appear as the orange sun dips below the western ridge, more stars than you have ever seen, crowding the deepening sky like grains of luminous sand. The door to the observatory is open. A warm rectangle of amber light spills across the dust. Breathe in slowly through your nose, and let it out through your mouth, easy and unhurried. Inside, Elias moves with the calm efficiency of a man who has done this 10,000 times. He adjusts a brass dial. He logs a reading in a leather-bound journal. He lifts a mug of something warm and sips it slowly, gazing upward through the great glass eye of the dome where the first bright stars are already appearing. He is not startled to see you. He simply nods, the way a lighthouse keeper might nod to someone who has come to watch the sea. "Good evening," he says, his voice low and even, the voice of a man who has learned to move quietly so as not to disturb the silence. "You have arrived just in time. The sky is about to open." You settle into the chair he gestures toward, a deep, worn armchair near the base of the telescope, its cushions shaped by years of careful watching. The warmth of the room holds you like something gentle and familiar. The amber lamp hums softly. Outside, the last traces of orange light fade from the horizon, and the great darkness of night rolls in from the east. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest open. You are here now. There is nowhere else to be. The dome above begins to turn, almost imperceptibly, tracking the slow drift of the sky. Elias takes his place at the eyepiece. The stars multiply, deepening, brightening, filling the dome's open eye until the night above is not darkness at all, but a field of ancient, patient light, every photon having traveled for thousands or millions of years to arrive precisely here, precisely now, at the Last Observatory on Kepler-442b. You close your eyes for a moment and simply breathe. The chair holds you. The warmth holds you. The soft mechanical tick of the dome's rotation is a lullaby in the key of precision and patience. Let your breathing slow, slower still. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You are safe, you are still. The night has only just begun. The observatory's interior is a study in devoted simplicity. The walls are lined with wooden shelves, and on those shelves are the things that accumulate over a lifetime of careful looking. Stacks of journals filled with observations logged in Elia's small, precise handwriting. Glass vials containing soil samples from different regions of the planet. Star charts hand-drawn on vellum, so old the paper has taken on the texture of dried leaves. There is a small cooking area in the corner, tidy and well-used, and beside it a narrow cot where Elias sleeps during the brief daylight hours when the orange sun warms the dome and the sky is too bright for observation. But at night, and the nights here are long, 8 of your hours at their shortest, 15 at their longest, Elias is awake, and the observatory is alive with quiet purpose. Let your body sink deeper into the chair. Feel the cushions rising gently around you, holding you. Let the sounds of this room become familiar. The soft tick of the dome, the occasional faint whisper of the ventilation system, the quiet scratch of Elia's pen across paper as he notes something in the journal on his knee. He writes in the way people used to write letters, unhurriedly, with attention to each word. Tonight's entry has already begun. Kepler-442b, cycle 1847, night 3. Sky conditions, excellent. Atmospheric transparency, 9.2, seeing 4 arcseconds. Target, the Veil Nebula remnant at 23H20m, just clearing the eastern ridge. Temperature outside, minus 14 degrees Celsius. Wind, negligible. The world is holding its breath. He pauses, looks up through the dome, then adds, so am I. Breathe slowly. Let the breath move through you like something carried on a gentle tide. There is something profoundly calming about watching someone who loves what they do. Elias does not perform his work. He simply inhabits it. His movements are unhurried and exact, reaching for the fine focus knob on the telescope with the same care one might use to touch something sacred, adjusting the declination by a hair's breadth and then leaning in to look, his eyes patient, his breathing steady. On the shelf nearest your chair, a small collection of objects sits arranged with obvious affection. A smooth, round stone, black, with a single vein of white running through it like a frozen river from the valley below. A pressed flower, gray now, from some other world entirely, its petals still holding a suggestion of the lavender they once were. A photograph, slightly faded, of a sunrise over water somewhere very far from here. These are the things a person carries when they have chosen to live at the edge of the known, at the last outpost before the darkness becomes simply itself. Let your shoulders drop, let your hands grow heavy. There is no need to hold anything, not here. The amber lamp on the desk casts long, soft shadows across the curved walls of the dome. When Elias moves, his shadow moves with him, large and gentle on the pale stone, a companionable shape. The lamp runs on stored solar energy from the day's quiet sunshine, and its warmth is steady and unhurried, the way all light should be in a place like this. Outside, through the open dome, the stars are extraordinary. Not the handful visible from an Earth city, not even the thousands visible from a dark mountain, but tens of thousands, a river of them, a torrent, the Milky Way of this galaxy blazing overhead like a road made of light. Elias has looked at this sky 10,000 times, and he has never once stopped being astonished by it. You get used to the cold, he says quietly, not looking up from the eyepiece. You get used to the distance. You get used to the silence. He pauses. You never get used to the sky. Let your breathing slow, in and out, easy as water finding its level. The journal rests open on his knee, the pen tucked behind his ear. He has recorded 1,847 cycles on this world, each one a full orbit of this planet around its orange sun. The journal before this one sits on the shelf, and the one before that. A long, slow, patient record of what this corner of the galaxy looks like, what it sounds like in the data, what the stars are doing in their vast and unhurried lives. In the quiet, you can hear the faint hum of the telescope's tracking motor, a sound like a meditation bell struck very softly, sustained into a continuous, gentle vibration. It is the sound of the observatory keeping pace with the turning of the world, ensuring that whatever Elias is looking at stays centered, stays visible, is not lost. Let yourself be held like that, tracked, steady, not lost. The night is long, there is so much to see, and you are exactly where you need to be. Elias steps back from the telescope and gestures, very gently, toward the eyepiece. Come and look, the gesture says. There is something here worth seeing. You rise from the armchair, your body feeling pleasantly heavy, pleasantly slow, the way a body feels when it has already begun its long drift toward sleep, and you move to the telescope. The eyepiece is cool against your face. For a moment, there is only darkness. And then, the nebula is a smear of pale luminosity against the black, like breath on cold glass, like watercolor left to bleed across wet paper. It is the remnant of a star that died 20,000 years ago, when woolly mammoths still walked the tundra of Earth, when the first humans were learning to mark time by the moon. And its light has been traveling all those years to arrive here, now, at the lens of this small observatory on a distant world. Breathe in slowly, let the image fill you, then breathe out. The nebula has colors that language struggles to hold. The outer edges are the blue-white of the hottest light, the ionized hydrogen glowing with its own ancient energy. Deeper in, where the shock wave has compressed the gas, there is a faint green, the green of something alive, something electric and patient. And at the center, barely visible, a dim point of fierce white. The stellar remnant, the core of what was once a sun, now cooling slowly over millions of years into a dark and quiet end. 20,000 years of light. You are looking at something that happened before written history, before agriculture, before anyone thought to look up and ask questions. The universe has been conducting its business for a very long time, and it does not require an audience, but it is generous to those who choose to watch. Let your shoulders soften. Breathe slowly. There is nothing to do but look and breathe and let the distance do its work on you. You step back from the eyepiece and return to the armchair. The dome above is fully open now to the night. You can see the sky directly, that impossible profusion of stars, each one a sun, many of them orbited by worlds, some of those worlds perhaps holding their own observers, their own quiet watchers, their own long nights of patient looking. Elias resumes his place at the telescope. He is making sketches tonight, careful, loving drawings of what he sees through the eyepiece, his hand moving in small, precise arcs across the page. The sketches are not photographs. They are something more intimate than photographs. The record of what a human mind selects from the field of view, what it finds beautiful or remarkable, what it decides to preserve. The observatory turns. The stars wheel slowly overhead. The nebula drifts in its slow arc across the sky. Let your breath come slower. Let the muscles of your face go soft. There is a particular quality to the silence here that is different from any silence you have known. On Earth, silence is rarely complete. There are always the sounds of wind in trees, traffic in the distance, the hum of electrical systems, the ambient noise of a world dense with life and activity. But here, in this place, the silence has a texture. It is the silence of great distance, the silence of space just on the other side of the dome, the silence of light that has no sound but carries all the information of its origin. In that silence, you can hear your own breathing very clearly. In, out, in, out. This is the sound of you being alive, in this moment on this night, somewhere between the stars. Elias finishes a sketch and holds it up to study it. He adds a notation, a small arrow, a measurement, then closes the journal. The nebula will set in about 2 hours, he says. Then we'll turn to the galaxy cluster in Aquarius. He says it the way someone might say, then we'll have tea, comfortable, anticipated, pleasurable in its simplicity. Breathe in and let it out slowly, like a tide going out. Easy, natural, unhurried. The cold outside the dome is absolute, -14 degrees tonight. But inside, the ambient warmth of the equipment and the amber lamp keeps the room a steady, gentle temperature. You pull the blanket from the arm of your chair. Because of course there is a blanket, Elia's is nothing if not a thoughtful host, and you fold it over your legs. The fabric is soft and heavy, the kind of weight that anchors you pleasantly to where you are. Through the dome above, a single meteor traces a thin, silent line across the field of stars and is gone. One grain of ancient debris, the remnant of a comet's long journey, burning for one brilliant instant in the thin upper atmosphere of this quiet world. It is enough. It is exactly enough. The hours pass in the observatory the way hours pass in deep water. Smoothly, without drama, each one folding into the next with a soft seamlessness. Elias moves between the telescope and his desk, recording, sketching, occasionally stepping outside. You can hear the airlock hiss and thump to take air quality readings or adjust the exterior spectrograph. You have remained in the armchair. You do not need to move. The chair has become your world for now, and it is a good world, warm, well padded, positioned perfectly to see both the dome overhead and the amber-lit interior of the observatory around you. The blanket over your legs is warm. Your breathing has slowed without your noticing. Let it slow further now. There is no hurry, there never was. Elias returns from outside, the cold coming with him briefly before the airlock seals. He removes his outer gloves and hangs them by the door with the ease of habit, then pours himself another mug of warm something from the thermos on the desk. He sits in his own chair, a battered thing, upholstered in something once red, now faded to a dusty rose, and he looks up through the dome. "When I first arrived here," he says, and his voice is the voice of someone who does not need a response, who is simply sharing a thought the way the observatory shares its light, "I thought the hardest part would be the isolation." He takes a sip. The distance from home, the absence of other people. Another sip. But what I found was the opposite. Out here, I've never felt less alone. He looks at the stars as he says it, and in the sky above the dome, you understand what he means. Breathe slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth, easy and deep. Every star you can see is a sun. Every sun, statistically, probably has planets. Every planet, with any luck, has something interesting happening on it, weather systems, geological processes, the slow, patient chemistry of rock and water and time. And some of them, who can say how many, have something watching, something curious, something that learned to build lenses and point them upward and ask what is out there and how far does it go. Elias is in conversation with all of them in his way. The light he collects has been traveling for years, for centuries, for millennia. Some of the stars he observes tonight no longer exist. They burned out before the pyramids were built, but their light has been faithfully carrying the record of their existence all this time, across all that unimaginable distance, to arrive here, in this small dome, in the eye of this one careful man. Light does not forget where it came from. It carries its origin with it, always, across every distance. Let your body grow heavy. Let your thoughts slow and simplify. The galaxy cluster Elias mentioned earlier is coming into view now. He has swung the telescope to a new position, and the tracking motor hums its soft note as the dome rotates to follow. He leans into the eyepiece with a small sound of quiet pleasure, the way you might make a sound when you taste something you have been looking forward to. "Come look," he says. You push the blanket aside, reluctantly, because the warmth is very pleasant, and make your way to the telescope again. The eyepiece is waiting. You lean in. Breathe in slowly, and hold it for just a moment. In the field of view, not one galaxy but dozens. Each one a smear of light, an ellipse, a spiral seen from the side like a plate of light held at an angle. They are clustered together, in galactic terms, which is to say they are millions of light years apart, but gravitationally bound, slowly moving around their common center over a timescale that makes geological time look like a heartbeat. Each of those smears of light contains hundreds of billions of stars. Each of those stars could warm worlds. Each of those worlds could hold someone watching. You are looking at one small corner of what there is. Breathe out slowly, completely. You return to the chair. The blanket folds back over your legs. Elias is writing in his journal again, the soft scratch of the pen, the slight pause between observations, the quiet hum of a man content in his work. Outside, the orange sun of Kepler-442b has not yet risen. There are still hours of darkness left. Hours of stars. Hours of this profound and particular quiet. Let yourself rest into it. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let the sounds of the observatory, the tick, the hum, the soft pen, become the sounds of your breathing, of your heartbeat, of the deep and unhurried rhythm of being alive. On the south wall of the observatory, occupying a shelf that runs the full width of the room, are the catalogs. Not data drives or memory chips, actual physical catalogs, bound in dark green cloth, their spines labeled in Elia's careful hand. Volume I through Volume XXIV. 24 volumes of observations, accumulated over the years of his tenure on this world, each one a record of what the sky looked like on a particular night, from a particular place, through a particular instrument. Elias takes down Volume XII while the telescope tracks through a long observation sequence. The spectrograph is running, collecting data automatically, so he has a few minutes free. He opens the volume to a page near the middle and reads from it quietly, more to himself than to you, though the words reach you where you sit. Cycle 1203, Night 7. Saw the Crab Nebula transit the meridian at 300. The pulsar at its center, flashing 30 times per second, invisible to the eye but present in the data, a tiny dead star spinning in the darkness, still sending out its signal after 1,000 years. It occurs to me that a pulsar is a kind of clock. And clocks comfort me. Even dead stars know how to keep time. He closes the volume, places it back on the shelf with a small, deliberate sound. Let your breathing slow now. Slower, like a wave that has reached its furthest distance and is simply resting before it returns. There is something in Elias' work that speaks to a very old part of you, the part that has always found comfort in the idea of patient watching, of slow accumulation, of turning up every night to record what is there, regardless of whether anyone is listening. The universe does not demand an audience, but the act of witnessing, of saying I was here, and I looked, and I wrote down what I saw, this is one of the deepest things a person can do. You close your eyes. The amber light still reaches you through your eyelids, a warm rose glow. The sounds of the observatory are very clear in the darkness of your closed eyes. The tick of the dome, the soft whir of the spectrograph, the occasional rustle of Elias turning a page. And beneath all of it, if you listen very carefully, you can hear the almost inaudible hiss of space itself, the thermal background radiation of the universe, the whisper of the Big Bang still fading after 14 billion years, translated by the instruments into something just at the edge of hearing. Let your shoulders drop, let your arms rest heavy, let your legs grow warm and still. Elias is at the telescope again. He makes a small adjustment, leans in, then leans back and writes something quickly, then leans in again. This is how it goes. Look, record, adjust, look again. A rhythm as steady as breathing. A rhythm as patient as the turning of the stars. You know what I like best about this work, he says. He does not look up from the eyepiece. Everything I look at has already happened. The light left its source years ago, centuries ago, millions of years ago. I'm not seeing what's there now, I'm seeing what was there then. I'm reading old messages from a very long way away. He pauses. It makes every observation feel like finding something, like archaeology, except the artifacts come to you. Breathe in, let it fill you. Then breathe out slowly, letting everything soften. The night has deepened. The orange sun of Kepler-442b is at its furthest point from this part of the sky, and the darkness is at its most complete. The stars have no competition. They fill the dome with their cold, patient radiance, an illumination that casts no shadows, that warms nothing, that is simply itself. Light, having traveled vast distances to be here. You feel the warmth of the blanket. You feel the chair beneath you. You feel your own breathing, slow and steady, like the tide of a quiet sea. And you let yourself fall gently into the next moment, and the next, each one as soft as the last. The spectrograph finishes its observation sequence, and the observatory settles into a brief stillness while Elias reviews the data. He sits at his desk with a mug in one hand and a cursor in the other, scrolling through plots of spectral lines, the chemical fingerprints of distant stars, each line a signature, each signature a story. Hydrogen, helium, calcium, iron, the same elements everywhere in everything. The universe has only so many building blocks, and it uses them with remarkable imagination. The instruments around the room make their quiet sounds. The refrigeration unit that keeps the spectrograph sensor cold hums at a low, steady frequency, not quite a note, but close enough to one. The ventilation system moves air in and out in a slow cycle that is almost, but not quite, like breathing. The telescope's tracking motor ticks its patient tick. Let yourself breathe with the room, in slow and full, out slow and complete. These sounds have been Elias' companions for many cycles on this world. He no longer notices them consciously. They have become the texture of his environment, the sonic wallpaper of the life he has chosen. But they are present. They are real. They are the sound of instruments attending to their work, the sound of careful technology doing what it was made to do, out here at the edge of what is known. You let your eyes close again. Or perhaps they have been closed for some time. It is difficult to know. When the light behind your eyelids has that amber warmth that is so much like the light of a lamp in a room where everything is quiet and safe. Let your breathing slow even further. You are drifting now, gently, like something on water. Elias speaks, and his voice is softer than before, adjusted to the deepened quiet of the night's late hours. The stars don't care about us, you know? They don't know we're watching them. They just do what they do, burn hydrogen, expand, collapse, explode, fade on timescales that make our entire history a single note in a very long symphony. He is quiet for a moment. But that's not lonely. That's peaceful, to know that all of this is happening regardless of whether anyone notices. The universe doesn't need an audience to perform. He sips his drink. The refrigeration unit hums. Let your hands uncurl. Let your fingers rest open. There is nothing to hold. The catalog of observations continues. Elias logs each data point with the care of someone who knows that these records may outlast him, that some future researcher, somewhere, might pull up volume XXV and find a detail that unlocks something, that connects to something else. That adds one small piece to the vast and patient puzzle of what the universe is made of and how it works. This is what it means to work at the Last Observatory. You are not the center of anything. You are a node, one careful, patient node in a network of knowing that spans centuries and light years, that accumulates grain by grain, observation by observation, into something larger than any one person can hold. Breathe in and out, let the rhythm carry you. The stars through the dome above are beginning their slow rotation toward the west. You have been in this chair for how long? It is impossible to say. Time moves differently here, in this room, in this quiet. It has become elastic, unhurried, the way time feels when you are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly nothing, requiring exactly nothing. The amber lamp hums, the dome ticks, the universe proceeds. Let your thoughts become quieter, let them lose their edges, let them drift. There is a star visible from this observatory. Elias has pointed it out to you in the past, and you know where to find it without being told. That is 600 light-years from Kepler-442b. When the light you see leaving that star began its journey, the world was in a different age entirely. Forests that no longer exist were standing. Rivers that have since dried up were running. People who have been dust for centuries were alive. And that light has been traveling faithfully the whole time. This is the thing about starlight that undoes something in the chest, that loosens something you didn't know was held tight. The light does not know how long it has been traveling. It does not experience duration. It simply propagates at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second, through the vacuum, through the cold, through everything and nothing, until it meets something that can detect it. And tonight, that something is the lens of this small observatory. And beyond the lens, the eye of Elias. And beyond Elias, somehow, in the strange way of consciousness and story and the long web of presence, you. Let your breathing come slow and deep. Let the ancient light find you where you are. Elias has turned off one of the overhead lights. The room is dimmer now, lit mostly by the amber desk lamp and the faint blue glow of the monitor on the desk. The telescope is running an automated sequence, long-exposure imaging, that requires no intervention. And so Elias has settled into his chair with his journal open on his lap, writing something that is not an observation but a thought. You can see, from where you sit, that he is not writing quickly. Each sentence seems to take its time, as if he is choosing each word the way a person might choose stones to cross a stream, carefully, with attention to weight and placement. Breathe in slow and full, and out slow and complete. Let the breath find its own depth. The observatory is warm. The chair holds you. The blanket covers your legs. Outside, the temperature is -14 degrees, and the stars are blazing, and the universe is proceeding with its vast, unhurried business. But in here, everything is still, everything is soft, everything is the amber of the lamp, and the quiet of the room, and the patient sound of a man writing about what the stars have taught him. You do not need to know what he writes. You can feel it, the way you feel warmth through a closed window, distantly but undeniably, like a frequency your body recognizes even if your mind cannot name it. This is what the ancient light knows. That distance is not loss. That time is not only ending. That what has been sends itself forward always, in whatever form it can manage, photons, memories, the slow work of careful people who choose to pay attention. Let your eyes stay closed. Let the sounds of the room become the sounds of your own breathing. Breathe in, let it lift you gently. Breathe out, let it lower you softly. In, out, in, out. The telescope continues its long exposure. Photons are accumulating on the sensor, building up slowly, an image that will resolve over the course of the night into something that Elias will study in the morning. The stars do not know this is happening. The photons do not know they are being collected. But the image builds anyway, grain by grain, light by light, patient as the accumulation of everything. Your building rests the same way, breath by breath, moment by moment, quieter and quieter. It is the deepest part of the night now. The observatory's interior is very still. Elias has finished his journal entry and closed the book and set it on the desk and placed his pen carefully across it, the way a person does when they are done for a while, when they are ready to simply be without doing. He is sitting in his chair. His mug is empty. His hands rest on the arms of the chair, open and still. He is looking at the sky through the dome, but not with the focused attention of someone observing. More like the open, unfocused gaze of someone who is simply receiving, simply present. You are very comfortable in your chair. The blanket is warm. Your breathing has settled into a rhythm so slow and natural that you are barely aware of it as an action. It is simply happening, the way your heartbeat simply happens, the way the stars simply burn. Let your awareness soften. Let the boundaries of where you are become comfortable and loose. The spectrograph has completed all its sequences for the night. The telescope is in its rest position, dome partially closed against a thin layer of high cloud that has drifted in from the east. Elias does not seem troubled by this. He has watched enough nights to know that high cloud is not the enemy. It is simply the weather of this world, doing what weather does, moving through on its own schedule. The good nights and the bad nights are all part of it, he says quietly. You don't love the sky only when it's clear. You love it all the time, and when it's clear, you work. The rest of the time, you just keep company with it. Breathe slowly. Let the thought reach you like warmth. The cloud moves across the dome. Stars disappear behind it and then reappear as the cloud moves on, trailing its thin, luminous veil. It is like watching a long, slow curtain drift across a window that opens onto something very vast. The stars appear, are briefly covered, appear again, still there, still burning, still sending their ancient light across all this distance to be here. Your own thoughts are like that now. They appear, they drift, they thin out, they disappear. You do not chase them. There is nothing to chase. The mind, when you stop requiring things of it, becomes something very gentle, a surface through which thoughts pass the way clouds pass across stars, unhurried, unconcerned. Let your breathing slow even further. Let your body become simply weight, simply warmth, simply rest. The amber lamp is still on but very low. The blue glow of the monitor has dimmed to its sleep setting. The refrigeration unit hums. The ventilation breathes. Elia's chair creaks once, softly, as he shifts his weight. And the stars are always there. Behind the cloud, behind the dome, behind the night, sending their light, doing their patient work, burning and cooling and exploding and condensing and beginning again, over timescales that hold all of human history the way the ocean holds a single wave. You are one breath in that vastness, one warm, quiet breath, and that is enough. That is, in fact, everything. Elia's voice has become very soft now. It seems to come from somewhere close and also from somewhere very far, the way sounds come when you are at the edge of dreaming. He is not speaking to wake you. He is speaking the way some people hum while they work, because the sound is company, because the quiet has room for it, because the words themselves are a kind of warmth. When I was very young, he says, and his voice is almost a whisper, I was afraid of the dark. I would lie in bed and listen to the house settle around me, and the settling sound seemed threatening. Unknown. A long, slow pause. Now I know that a house settling is just a house breathing, cooling and contracting after the warmth of the day. The wood is just doing what wood does. The pipes are just doing what pipes do. Everything is just doing what it does. And that is not threatening. That is simply. He pauses, the world being alive. Breathe in slow and deep, and out. Let the words move through you. The dark, he continues, even more quietly, is just the absence of light nearby. But there is no true darkness anywhere in the universe. There is always light. Always. It is just a matter of distance and patience and a lens fine enough to collect what is there. The observatory is very still. You are very still. The dome overhead shows a clearing sky, the cloud has passed, and the stars have returned in their full profusion, brighter even than before, as though they have taken a breath and expanded. Let your eyes remain closed. Let the light reach you even so. Elias is quiet for a long time now. You can hear the ventilation. You can hear the refrigeration unit. You can hear, very faintly, the tracking motors tick slower now, or perhaps only seeming so because everything has slowed, because the night has found its deepest register. Your breathing is very slow. Each breath in is a long, gentle rise. Each breath out is a long, gentle fall, like the tide, like the long orbits of planets around their quiet suns, like the slow rotation of galaxies around their ancient centers. You do not need to hear anything more. The room knows what it is doing. The observatory knows what it is doing. Your body knows what it is doing. Let it do it. Let yourself be held. The stars wheel overhead, barely moving in any given moment, but always in motion, tracing arcs across the sky of Kepler-442b the way they trace arcs across every sky. The slow and certain movement of worlds around their suns, of suns around their galaxies, of galaxies through the expanding fabric of space itself. Everything is turning. Everything is following its path. And you are resting at the center of your own small orbit, warm and still and quiet, held by the chair and the blanket and the amber light and the vast and patient dark beyond the dome. Let your thoughts go. There is nothing to think. There is only this. Breathe slowly. Breathe. The night has reached its longest moment. Somewhere above the eastern ridge, many hours from now, the orange sun of Kepler-442b will begin its return. But now, in the last deep hours of darkness, the observatory is at its most quiet, its most still, its most purely itself. Elias is resting. His eyes are open and looking at the sky, but the quality of his attention has changed. It is no longer the attention of observation, of data collection, of careful scientific record. It is something older and simpler than that. It is the attention of someone who is simply here, simply present, simply grateful to be alive in a moment that contains this much beauty. The stars in the dome above are at their most vivid. This is the hour when the sky is darkest, the orange sun at its furthest, no moon in this world's sky tonight, and the stars burn with everything they have, every photon from every light year of distance arriving at this dome, at this lens, at this small and beloved outpost. Breathe in very slowly. Let the breath be very soft. You are deeply comfortable. The chair holds you as it has held you through this long night. The blanket is warm. Your hands are open and still. Your face is soft. Your jaw is unclenched. Your shoulders have settled somewhere lower than they have been in a long time. Breathe out slowly. Let everything settle. The instruments are quiet. The spectrograph is done. The telescope rests in its cradle. The catalogs sit on their shelves, volume XII and all the others, holding their patient record of what the sky looked like on all the nights before this one, and this night will join them in the morning, and the night after that will join them too, one by one, patient and accumulating. Elia's voice, when it comes, is barely above a breath. It is not a voice for waking. It is a voice for the edge of sleep, for the place where words become something softer than meaning. You can rest now, he says. The sky will keep. The stars will keep. The light has been traveling this long. It will be here when you wake. Everything you came to see has already found you. You don't have to look anymore. You can simply be here. Breathe in very slowly, like the first breath of sleep. The observatory will stay open. It always stays open. And wherever you are when you wake, the stars are there above you, the same stars, sending the same ancient light through all the distance and all the years to wherever you are. You are never not beneath the stars. You are never not held by this. Breathe out completely. Let it all go. Sleep now. The night is long, and it is very quiet, and the universe is doing its patient work all around you, and you are exactly where you need to be, which is here, which is resting, which is safe and warm and still. The amber lamp, very low. The soft hum of the refrigeration unit. The slow breath of the ventilation. The room breathing around you, the way all rooms breathe, the way all things breathe that are alive and present and here. Breathe in. Breathe out. The stars overhead, blazing and patient, sending their ancient light across all the distance in the universe. Arriving here, arriving now, arriving always, finding you where you are, resting, warm, safe, still. You are cared for by the night. You are held by the quiet. You are here. And the last observatory on Kepler-442b keeps its watch. and we'll be here in the morning, and we'll be here in the long years after. And the stars will keep sending their light, and the catalogs will keep filling, and everything that needs to happen will happen in its own good time. Sleep now. Asleep. The stars are there. The light has found you. Asleep.